Heyo everybody, Haku here, and welcome to this week's HaQ&A video, where I respond to your questions and your comments and everything. And I didn't do one last week because not only was I super busy, but we only had like 8 comments or something. But pretty much before I get into answering the comments and stuff and discussing all that, I wanted to discuss real quick stuff with the channel, like where I haven't been uploading as much the past couple days. And it's because I wasn't planning to upload any less, but I had an exam on Saturday. Then Sunday I had like 2 essays, and then ever since then I've been working like quite literally nonstop on a project that I have to get done by today. But I want to have at least one video up for you guys every day, even if I don't have everything up that I need to. Like the Tower of God review that's not up yet, or the Fear the Walking Dead review that's not up yet, or the One Piece anime review that's not up yet, and I'll have to do those tomorrow or Friday, because once I get this project done, it should be a huge weight off my shoulders. I mean, like, I haven't slept in over 40 hours. At least, maybe longer. I haven't slept in a couple days, I guess, but yeah, so if I'm just out of it and not doing so well in this video, that's why. It's like I've got all this work to do, but I'm trying my best to stay awake to do it, because I'm exhausted. But yeah, hopefully I'll make that deadline. I really hope so. And just stuff I wanted to talk about, like, once this is over, my schoolwork should get a lot lighter, because one of my classes is ending in 2 weeks, and even the next 2 weeks before then isn't going to be that, like, I don't know, isn't going to be that extreme or as busy as the rest of the semester before this was. It's like starting to wind down, and then once that class is out of the way, it's only like 3, then I'll only be doing 3 a week instead of 4 a week, and that'll be significantly more time that I can just put into actually getting things up on time, and actually getting things up that I've been putting off for a bit. And sorry if you just heard the AC turn on, but also if you hear thunder a bunch in the background, you guys know I always talk about it in videos where I'm like, it just storms here like all the friggin' time. So if you hear a bunch of thunder in the background, that is just life here. So yeah, I got way off track. But yeah, like, I still need to get up that top 5 Manmusu that I think are maybe possibly going to join the main group that people had kept suggesting and wanted me to do. I have that already made that I need to put up. I already have there are a lot of things that I need to do. I've got some Pokemon videos I've been working on, got some other Manmusu videos I've been working on, because you guys know, like, we've talked about it, for those of you that are like with me on the Manmusu videos and stuff. We've talked about it where once the next few chapters come out and we see who these new characters are going to be, I was going to do my top favorite waifu from the manga or whatever, and like do the full list in order once I see who the new characters are going to be. Yeah, I already said new Pokemon vids I want to get up. There's just a lot of things, some more anime stuff that I want to do. Like, there's just a lot that I want to do that I haven't had time to because of school, that I used to have time to, that, yeah, it's cutting into. Like, even this weekend, I'm trying to get everything up, because I have had my, my last episode of the Boku no Hero Academia read-through. I've had that recorded for like almost 2 weeks now. It's just that takes me like an entire day to make the thumbnail, to edit it, to render it, to upload it, and all of that. That takes like an entire day. So, because of that taking so long, I usually do it on Saturdays, and I'm like, that'll be the only video I post Saturday. I'll just spend all Saturday doing that. But then this Saturday, of course, like I said, I had an exam, so I couldn't work on it any. And yeah, so I still have that on my computer saved up that I have to edit and stuff, and hopefully get up this Saturday. And this Sunday, I don't want to push back the Pokemon Nuzlocke again, but if I have to, I feel like that's the video that's on the block that I'll just be like, I'll just push it back till next Sunday. Because if I'm not prepared for it, or not like feeling it or anything, what's the point of putting out a video that I'm not really into, you know? So, yeah, I don't want to put it out if I don't have enough time to prepare everything for it and like get everything ready for the video. And yeah, also I have the new mic, so hopefully audio issues won't be as much of a problem, and that'll help us out more. Just lots of stuff going on with the channel. I wanted to spend a good 5 minutes talking about that just because I think it's really important, and a lot of it does kind of have to do with a lot of things that some of you asked. Like an important thing, I'll talk about it when I get to the question as well, but Anime Walker had said a long time ago, and I feel like such a retard I forgot, had asked about what anime or manga that I had already seen or read, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll put that out somewhere so anybody can see it. And I know a lot of YouTubers have like done like, I think it's called Anime Amino, or I think they may have like left links to their My Anime List page or something just to show what they've watched or read or whatever. But he or she, I think it's a he brought up in the comment, what about like a video or whatever, and not like that's a bit out of context, but like I was like, okay, actually a video sounds like a good way to do it, so I think I might just do a video as soon as I can, maybe a week or two, just a big discussion of all, where I list off all the anime that I've seen, and I'll like give just some quick thoughts on them right quick. To see what you guys think about them, and that had to do with the question, so that wasn't really off topic. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, and I'll probably do a full video on it. But let's get into the actual questions. We have a little bit of them saved up, and gonna be weird not having my Tower of God review up before this, because usually we have a ton of Tower of God questions from that. But Anime Watcher says, why is Oda so good at making me hate most of the antagonists? I'm a kind-hearted man, but I so badly want the Vinsmoke family to just die in a fire. And yeah, I was like, yeah, my girl Cosette don't deserve this shit. But seriously though, I really do honestly think Oda's like going out of his way to make the Vinsmokes like seem like the worst antagonists yet. Like, he has them going and beating women, he has them being arrogant, threatening a beloved character. He's throwing friggin' Nazi symbolism all over him. Like, Oda's stacking the hate deck on the Vinsmokes right now. And I put it in there too. I was like, and wasting food. That really bothers me, so I get where Sanji's coming from. Wasting food, what a bunch of pricks. Metal Screech 215 said about my One Piece live reaction or review. I love that SpongeBob reference. Thank you very much. Ravioli, give me the formuoli. My friggin' life is a SpongeBob reference. Anime Watcher again said parents in battle shonen are pushed to the side so that the main character can get away with fighting. It's a common trope and one of the weaker points in writing. And yeah, now that you point that out, like, I knew that happened in pretty much every action shonen, and but like I thought about it because I was thinking about like what I would answer and say for the video for some of these questions, and I was like, really, that's it's kind of a really bad writing case for like everyone I can think of. Like Dragon and Luffy's relationship, Dragon is just there to be this big, cool, powerful guy that Luffy doesn't even really know to be his genetic father. And like I feel like the same is maybe not so much true of Ishin from Bleach, but he kind of falls into that category in a little bit of ways too. Same with Naruto's dad, same with Tsunayoshi Sawada's dad, same with Jing Freaks. So yeah, that is like a very common plague going on. Lynn Cantrell said, don't want to sound like a troll, but I can't stand Terra about my Walking Dead trailer reaction. People seem to forget that she's the one who volunteered first to take over the prison. After the governor's speech, she had no problems holding a woman and an old man hostage. I haven't been able to forgive that woman. Spoilers while my hand is up. R.I.P. Herschel Green. There's like, okay, those are like what, 3-4 year old spoilers, but still, for people that want to marathon through it, I don't want to ruin anything. And yeah, like, you're all good, I get your point. That person was one of my favorite characters at the time, so that bothers me too. But me personally, I think that Terra's story with Glenn and the way she's like searching desperately for forgiveness and redemption was one of the better storylines in all The Walking Dead to me, so I really love Terra. She's one of my favorite characters even. Joshua B said, quick note just to let you know, ship's name in Korean is spoken as Sibisu, so calling him Isu isn't wrong. It could also just be a nickname that Kun calls them because of how close they are. As for Hatsu, it's not completely wrong because Z and S do sound similar depending on your pronunciation. And yeah, for ship, I figure like Sibisu and Endorsi's kind of closer than Andrasi because I think in Korean it's more like Endoroshi. So that's Endorsi is kind of more similar, but I just feel like Andrasi is a better name. I feel like Ship Lisu is a better name. And I feel like because they were the original names, that we kind of should have just stuck with that instead of changing the name so often. Because that's another thing I don't like is when it doesn't matter to me so much if we change a name from what the company translation was and then stick with it, but it seems like the line translation just, they could be calling him Shibisu this week, or then they could be calling him Isu, then they could be calling him Ship. It's like they're kind of all over the place a lot of times with their translation. Gabriel Lancelot said earlier last week, "Where's that Tog video? Life's hard for you, huh, bro?" And yeah, at that point I had mentioned it on Twitter and in my Monmusu vid last week, but for some reason it didn't happen in any of my other videos, but the audio and video were off, and it was last Monday. I spent hours. I spent like all day trying to fix that video, and then it looked fine after I fixed it. Then I rendered it, and when I watched it again after rendering it, it looked off sync again. So I was so done with it at that point that I was like, I'm just going to do my review and ask if people want to see it, and if they want to see it, I'll post it. And people said they did, so I ended up posting it like Thursday or Friday or something. It was like a little bit off after the first few seconds. And it was weird too, because it wasn't like off throughout the whole video. It was like it would be normal, and then the audio and video would get off, and then it would jump back to normal, and then it would slowly get off again, then jump back to normal again. Like, it was a really weird issue, and I have no idea what was going on with it, honestly. Joshua B was saying about the video, I'd love to watch and hear it. And yeah, I ended up uploading it. Also, he said, you misunderstood what Iniesta said. He means that he felt a Kaiser, the name hunter, and was unable to see the should-be Princess of Zahard's abilities. So what he's getting at is that Kaiser's a lot stronger than what she's showing right now, and it's only because of the rules and gear that she has that she's not using them now. And yeah, I think most of us got that. I think most of us had that. Also, he had a really good theory. It's not really been proven wrong, but it's probably not right at this point. But we discussed it, and I thought it was a good discussion, so I'm going to bring it up here because I think it does still have some sort of effect on the story. But his theory was pretty much like why Iniesta was saying, and I'm going to kind of just summarize it, why Iniesta was like saying that Kaiser can't be beaten once somebody gets bitten by the wolf, is that like since there's focus on Baam getting bitten, that maybe Kaiser can use the wolf to break the rules of the tower, or the rules of the station, I mean. So like something like that is what along the lines of what he was thinking, because like even somebody from the REA family admitted that nobody can beat Kaiser if they're bitten. So the wolf being a problem to the REA, just even with like being bitten, it makes it seem like Kaiser is using the wolf to bend the rules in a certain way. And like that could still have something to do with it. It doesn't seem like it does right now, because we know now that it's the wounds don't heal up and will keep bleeding unless you kill Kaiser, or Kaiser heals them herself. But I had forgot to mention it in my and I even said it here. I was like, I forgot to mention it in my review, but I thought that the wolf's bite would be like an effect type move, that once Baam got bitten it would place some sort of effect on him. And I was thinking something more along the lines of, say, like what's his name, Knuckle from Hunter x Hunter. I was thinking more along those lines. But I guess in a little bit of a way we were both kind of right with it being just a placing effect type move. The effect just happens to be bleeding. And Ghost Emblem said that he heard a theory that it has something to do with the rule of touching someone's back, because I mean, obviously it's weird for Andrasi to lose while she has Bong Bong. For her to let somebody touch her back. So yeah, that. And he was saying it might manipulate the rules because of that. And yeah, that's actually a really good thought too. That it's really interesting that she does have Bong Bong. And I talked about it a bunch, where even if she doesn't lose, or even if she doesn't win, she could run away with Bong Bong. But it's interesting to notice that she couldn't run away from Kaiser for whatever reason. Alnoa.02014 A/C24 said, how do you think Baam's going to defeat Kaiser? And I'm not sure really, because I think we have a lot more to see before Kaiser gets defeated. I think Kaiser's maybe not going to get defeated for another at least 2 or 3 chapters, because I think we're either going to end the Kaiser fight on 299 or 300 and then move into the next part of the storyline in either 300 or 301. I mean, I don't believe that SIU has ever done anything special for like milestone chapters before, but I feel like it's just too coincidental that we're having the climactic fight and we're almost at 300, and it seems like the pacing of the story is lining up for us to end around 300, or end the Kaiser fight section of this storyline around 300 and move on into the next thing. Spam Pika said, good video, liked and subscribed. Thank you so very much. East 1860 said about Sanji's family, they're not clones, their genes were just enhanced after their birth. It's stated that they have a mother, and the same thing was said in much greater detail. Not that yours was a detail, but Yurazuya White Bear Beppo said something along the same way. And yet, you guys are right, I was using clone as more of just a generic term, as in like, you know, real world clones, they're still like raised in a mother, they're just genetically altered using something's DNA. And that could honestly still be the case, because we don't know if they're just like DNA from Judge placed in the mother. But, well, I mean, I guess that's kind of what they'd be either way. But I think you guys know what I mean. But I don't think clone is really a good word, and I probably shouldn't use that word for them, given that in the One Piece universe we have actual, like, grown up in a tank type, grown up in like a water tank type clones. So they're just sort of genetically altered humans. And then we talked a lot, Yurazuya White Bear Beppo and I still haven't answered his second comment, so I'm really sorry about that. But I'll just summarize it real quick because it was really long. But he said he didn't see the logic behind my the whole thing where I was like, it kind of came out of nowhere for Germa to be all like gung-ho about science and science to be their main thing, and he was saying, you know, it makes sense that they're a technologically advanced mercenary army, so it all sort of links together. And yeah, I agree that it does. It links together. It's just really loose, and my thing with it is like, we knew from the beginning, they said assassins, but mercenaries a better translation, and they're definitely mercenaries, but it seems like we kind of skimmed over the mercenary part of them with the Brock Coley or whatever, and went straight to the technologically advanced and saw the cool gear that Yonji and Reiju had, and then we kind of just skipped over that and moved on to the clone stuff and how Judge was a scientist. And I don't like the way we're just skipping over stuff and jumping to other stuff. I feel like it's just a very loose thing that's going on right now for them. And then he also said, I understand your perspective about Sanji's childhood flashbacks. However, I think it's good that Oda fleshed out his childhood more. He's showing us, not telling us. And he said that I focus way too much on the stuff we already knew instead of the new stuff that was revealed to us. And yet, the new stuff that was revealed to us I thought was good, but I just thought that too much of the chapter was things we already knew or things we already saw, and just stuff like that. And like, this wasn't an argument, like, it was a really good conversation, because he had really great points that really made me think about a lot of these points differently. But overall as a whole, while I do think a lot of the points were good, I think overall, I even said in my comments that it felt like it felt like a Dressrosa chapter where we get to the end of the chapter and then I'm like, are we really any further than we were at the beginning of the chapter? It was one of those kinds of feelings. Also, I thought the Judge and Vegapunk and Witch Hunt stuff wasn't that interesting to me right now, because I still don't think we know enough about it for me to really be that interested. Like, Vegapunk, we get his name tossed around, but like, Vegapunk doesn't hype me that much, honestly. Just because it's different with the Yonko, where we heard some things, but we didn't know a lot of things. I think with Vegapunk, it's like we know so little, and the stuff we do know is so vague that I find it hard to get hyped about him until we learn a bit more. Also for that chapter, I thought the Sanji and Niji stuff was great, and I think Reiju's going to be the one to help Sanji escape. And yeah, I think that covers basically everything we talked about. Oh, he also asked, do I like or dislike the fact that the siblings or Sanji are being genetically modified? I like it because it explains certain things, but on the other hand, I also dislike it because I feel like we're getting further and further to where back at the beginning of the Grand Line, or back in the East Blue, this was a story about pirates. I mean, sure, there were some supernatural powers, devil fruits thrown in here and there, but it was mostly just a show or a comic about pirates. And now I feel like we have gotten so far from that this arc, like, that this arc feels a bit different. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just different. So yeah, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything else we talked about. 60 said, awesome video, I hope your day's going well. Thank you so much, I hope yours is too. Anime Watcher said, I've been thinking about how Tower of God would feel if it was licensed and printed in volumes with full color. Manhwa have been printed before. Can a webtoon get the same treatment? I'd like the spine to be black, but SIU's writing be white with his signature and the title, of course. Only thing causing me to think that is, what would the volume covers be like? That's what I'm thinking the most this week. I think, I love volume covers, so thinking about volume covers with Tower of God would be awesome, but sadly I don't think it's ever going to happen. There were some special physical copies made for autograph signings in the past, but I think as a whole they might do specials like that every now and again, but they're not going to fully print stuff on a regular basis just because it's really bad business. Online publishing costs way less money even if he's making less, and putting the investment into getting physical comics published would be just a big investment that honestly, if people can get it online, they're not going to be willing to pay as much for the physical copies, and it'd be harder to distribute it around the world and everything. And so it would probably even sell less for the more that you're paying to make it. Of course I think hardcore Tower of God fans would want copies, but I think overall people who'd want, like, the overall number of just people who'd want it wouldn't really justify the cost to get it published. So I just think that because of the business and money constraints, I don't think we'll be seeing a regularly printed physical Tower of God. Unless it gets really, really huge, and I'm talking like millions and millions sold, or millions of millions reading kind of huge. Big Will 191919 said about the One Piece chapter, I felt the same, more sad backstory that we already know. And yeah, we did know pretty much all of it, and that was my biggest complaint, is just that we didn't quite move enough, I felt. We didn't quite get enough stuff that wasn't already stuff we already knew. About the Tower of God chapter, I'll know it at 02014A/C24 said this chapter is nuts. And yes, it is. I loved the Baam versus Kaiser fight. Like, it is so good so far. Paul 1991 said, Haku's thirsty for them thighs, XD. And yeah, they were distracting me. The whole time I was trying to make my review last week, Kaiser's thighs, oh my gosh. And Paul also said, her face might be even more distracting. And yeah, like, because of people saying that in the comments a bunch, like, I really want to know what's behind her mask now. Box TV said about the Walking Dead comics, but Maggie and Michonne didn't have much story before, and now they do have a lot of story. I think the same could happen with Andrea. And yeah, I think the same could happen with Andrea. I think that Andrea's just at this point now where her character has just kind of run out of stuff to do, and I think we're better off to go ahead and give her a really cool death and kill her off than to just keep dragging her character along, not doing much except for hanging out at Alexandria. Mark Infotube, speaking, said, nice review. The hiking bears from the Drum Kingdom. Also in the cover we see the word secret. The cover is foreshadowing the members of the scientists in this chapter. We only know Vegapunk and Sanji's father, but from the cover, I think, for Chopper, Dr. Krehar Hiraluk, for Kamishi, Dr. Hogback, or for Kumashi, Dr. Hogback, who made zombies, And for Kuma, Vegapunk, of course. Beppo, I don't know, but in Corzone's flashback, there's a doctor who eats the Ope Ope no Mi, and he could heal any disease. It's just a theory. I like your reviews and live reaction. Keep going, man. Thank you so much. Do you mean Law in Beppo's story, or Corazon flashback? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That you could be right, but that's just one of those theories where there's so many theories out there that I'm like, they could be right, they could be wrong. There's really no way of telling, and that's another big reason I stopped doing theory videos. Is just like that. Everybody does so many, and it's like whatever idea I come up with, it's like somebody's already had that idea, you know. Somebody somewhere is like, I already heard this from some big YouTuber somewhere that I don't watch. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just not good at theories, I guess. So yeah, I can't judge it very well because I'm not very good with theories. Pettis said, I liked your video. It's too good. Please go check out my channel as well. I approved this comment because comments with links and stuff get sent to me for approval before they show up on the channel, and I said before in the past that I would never disapprove or block out any comments, but I'm leaving this one in here, and I'm saying thank you for saying you liked the video. And I don't care that much about people advertising themselves, but in a certain way, if it's like that where it's clear they watched the video and then they're like, oh, that's really cool, but if you don't mind, could you check out my channel too? That's totally cool with me. But I get so many comments every single week that I just have to keep deleting because people just post sub for sub and then a link to their channel, or they just post a link to their channel and that's all they post. And I'm like, that is scummy as shit. That is the scummiest shitty stuff. If you're advertising yourself in somebody else's comments, that is really scummy. Yeah, moving on from that though. Gabriel Lancelot said, I thought it looked very good animated as well about this week's chapter of Tower of God. And yeah, that Baam versus Kaiser fight is one of those things, I thought Crown Game when we saw it would look amazing. I thought the Climax to Revolution Road would look amazing. Baam versus Joaquin fight, of course, would be, because that's my favorite fight in the series right now. But this Baam versus Kaiser fight could maybe end up pushing that away. It's really, really good, and we've had a lot of good fights this arc. I'm talking about other good fights this arc. Noah.02014A/C24 said, I hope Ron and Viol are both okay. I hope Viol's okay, but I kind of hope Ron isn't, because I'm tired of Ron falling into the Hitsugaya trap, where he is popular with fans. So it seems like because he's popular with fans, SIU keeps putting him in the spotlight, even when I feel like he doesn't really deserve it as much. Because he already got a big fight earlier against Hess, and that was a really good fight that really showed off Ron's power. And then we just threw him in, and he defeats Iniesta again, after Iniesta took down Rak and Danwa and Yiwa. I think that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I know that Ron did have Dan and Jaja's help, and he wouldn't have been able to do it without them. He would have got killed without them by that one attack. But honestly, I don't like it. Honestly, I think they should both survive, talking about Ron and Iniesta, or they should both die. I don't think that Ron just gets to charge in and beat somebody that strong up without any sort of real lasting repercussions. Then Ike Pavlovic said about my 12 Beats Chapter 16 live reaction and review, man, I never expected this series to be this good. Keep up the good work with your videos. Thank you so much. I didn't really expect it that much either, and I already love it so much. I already think 12 Beast way better than Fairy Tail already. And it's only 17 chapters in, guys. If you guys are not reading 12 Beast, I would urge you to read 12 Beast. I thought that the first 2 or 3 chapters were pretty fan servicey, and I didn't really like where I thought that it may have been going, but man, once it got into the climax of the Harpy Village arc and then into the next 2 arcs, it's so good. It just keeps getting better. And yeah, Ike Pavlovic said again in my chapter 17 live reaction and review, the series is amazing and is quickly becoming one of my favorite ongoing series. Wicked review as always, man. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the wonderful comments, really do. And yeah, I hope that Okayato can keep the story going on the sort of track it's been going, and because he's been straying away sort of from the fan service stuff and really been focusing more on a more serious action shonen story with the comedy and a little bit of fan service still thrown in. And I think that that's a really good balance that he's been doing lately. So I hope it keeps going in that sort of direction, because it's really good right now. Also, I'm going to be salty as hell if that fish girl doesn't join the main team, the main group. Looks like we got 2 more comments. Anime Watcher said, "This chapter would look nice in animation, but seriously I need to recommend you to watch ReZero. I just finished it and can't get enough of it. I'm currently waiting for translations of the web novel. Also, you're planning to show your anime and manga collection as a subscriber celebration, and everybody tells me I need to watch that. When ReZero was airing, my friend would tell me every single week, watch ReZero, and I'm like, no, I'm just going to marathon it eventually, and then I'll just do a full review of it. And then I think Gabriel Lancelot has already told me to watch ReZero. I'm pretty sure a couple of people have already said in the comments to watch it. So I think that I'll probably have time to marathon it in maybe like November or something, and I'll just do like a full series review then, because I've done that for like One Punch Man, Mikakunen de Shinkohei. I've done that for a couple shows in the past where I just marathoned it and did a review of the entire show. So I think that's what I want to do with ReZero, and I'll probably do it in like November or something since everybody wants me to watch it. Yeah, and also for the anime and manga thing, I think I might do a full video on it like I was saying earlier in this. Just because I think that would probably be more detailed, it'd help me get it out quicker. And I probably won't do it for a milestone thing, I'll just do it as soon as I possibly can. But I am planning to do another sort of thank you milestone video. I don't know what I'm going to do for it, but I'm planning on doing something for 250 subs, because I figured I'd do something at like 100, 250, 500, 750, 1000, 2500, 5000, so on. Go with that sort of pattern. Paul1991 has said, why do I feel like the fight's getting dragged out about the newest Tower of God chapter? And I think the Baam and Kaiser stuff is going a little slow, but I think it's going really well. I like the pacing. I like the way we're seeing sort of more than just them throw punches back and forth. We're really seeing the mental game between the two of them. So I'm really enjoying that, and they can take their time with it as long as they feel like. But the Ronin and Ieta stuff, I do think that it took up a little bit too much of this chapter. Like, I think if we were going to spend so much of this chapter on the Ronin and Ieta stuff, even though it was really good, we should have had a decisive end. The end we got for it was left a little bit open, where we don't really know what Inieta's condition is. He's probably dead, but I think he could very well survive. We've seen people survive worse in Tower of God. And Ron is probably going to survive, but I mean, I guess he could very well die, but I highly doubt that. Because fan service. But yeah, I don't know. I think we maybe spent a little bit too much time on that, and I'm okay with the way that the Baam and Kaiser fight's going. And that's it for the comments this week. Sorry if my voice is sounding weird or anything. Over 30 minutes? Jeez, guys. But yeah, this will be up probably late at night tonight or something. Is probably the soonest I'll be able to get this up. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like this video, and comment down there and tell me what you thought of all this, all my answers and stuff. Anything else you want to ask, or oh my god, I bumped the mic. That was probably deafening to you. I'm so sorry. But, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about or discuss, just throw it down there. We can discuss it next week's. And this week, I really feel like I did more than answering these questions. I really discussed most of them, because there were a lot of really good topics in there this week. Subscribe for more everything we talked about here and a bunch more. Also, starting a new anime this weekend. I don't know if the review will be up till Monday or Tuesday, or if it'll actually be up on Sunday, but we're starting Mahou Shoujo Weeksei Keikaku, or Magical Girl Raising Project, and oh man, I'm so hyped for it. It looks really, really good. I really like the sort of style that it looks like it's going to have, the like artsy style where it's dark yet it looks really cutesy and innocent. I love that. Maybe a bit too similar to Madoka Magica, but Madoka Magica, best piece of artwork ever made. Yeah, getting way off topic. Follow on Twitter if you want as well. I'll try to keep you updated there on stuff at the channel. That's it. So, thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.